Hi, um, I just wanted to talk to you today about something that's probably going to start happening fairly soon for those people who have children or who are looking after children. It's coming to the end of the summer holidays and the return to school is looming, and sometimes this can mean that our children can start to experience some anxiety. Sometimes that's more of an issue for some children than it is for others. And I just wanted to tell you some of the things that you can do quite easily to help your child manage that situation as best as they can. As parents, what we generally want is the best for our children, and when they're struggling, we're struggling. So to be able to help them through that, we're going to be happy if they're happy. Right, number one, let them talk about their worries. It's quite instinctive for us to do it'll be fine, there's nothing to worry about, everything's going to be okay. But generally that doesn't really help them when they're in that situation and they are faced with a problem or something that is quite difficult. So although you might be trying to be kind in saying those things, there is something else that we can do instead that might be more helpful, and that's helping them to work through the worries that they have and help them to find their own solution to it. So for example, a common worry that I hear from children when they have to go up to the next year group is, I think I'm going to find the work too difficult, I don't think I can do that. And that can play on their mind. That can be one of several that they might have. So an example of how you would help them to work through that is to explore that worry with them and help them to think about, well, what would they do if they were in that situation and they were doing a piece of work and they just felt like they didn't know what it was, they didn't know what they were expected to do. What would be the answer in that type of situation? And they're likely to come up with their own solutions, but you can help them along the way if they get stuck. And it might be something along the lines of, well, just asking for help. You know, if they're really stuck, there's always going to be somebody around them that will be able to help. It might be a child that's sat next to them. If they're brave enough, they can ask the teacher. And if all else fails, then they can bring it home and talk to mum and dad about it or their carers. But there will be something that they can do. And what this can do is help them to develop a really healthy habit of being able to feel confident that when they're faced with a difficult situation, there is something that they can do about it. There is a choice that they can make that's going to help them to improve that situation. Now, the other thing that we can do is to help them to focus on the positives. I do that a lot in the work that I do with children and the work that I do with adults. So helping them to pick out what it is that they are actually looking forward to about their return back to school. And for some it might only be something as simple as there's going to be a favourite snack in their lunchbox. Well, that's okay if it is something small. For others it might be that they're going to get to see friends that they haven't seen for a while, or a favourite teacher. But there's bound to be something. And the more you talk about that, the less time there is for anxiety to be creeping in. So that's a really easy, lovely thing to do. I always recommend doing it before the children go to bed, because when we lie down, our head hits the pillow, that's the prime time for worries to start going over and over in our head, and children don't have anybody with them at that time. So helping them to go to bed in the best possible mindset is going to be really good for them. So talking about all of those really lovely, good things, not just about school, but about their day in general. Another useful thing to start thinking about is how you are feeling about the return to school and how you're presenting that to the child, because children take cues from us, they're role models. If we're talking about it negatively, if we've got worries and we're showing them that, if we're talking about it to friends and family in that kind of context, then they're going to believe that, they're going to take that on board. So I do often say to parents, sometimes you've got to fake it to make it. You've got to ignore the worry that you have to convince your child that everything is okay, that going to school is actually going to be the best thing ever. You've got to believe it yourself, so fake it to make it. With younger children, one thing that you can do is use role play. So an example would be child's first day at school. They're 4.5 years old. You can use puppets or Lego figures or cuddly toys or My Little Ponies, Action Men, whatever it is that the children are really interested in. You take on the role of the child and the child takes on the role of the teacher, and you can just help to show them what it's like to be at school, but as you're the child, you can help to show them what they can do to make their day even better. So some children might be worried first day at school, what do I do when I need the toilet? You can role play that with the toys, and then they can help to see that that can be something that can be perfectly normal and okay and easy to do when they're there. I always suggest, whether it is transition to secondary school or just first day back to a school that the children are familiar with, or the first day of school, start getting back into the routine a week before the child is due to start, because this helps to prime them into getting back into that kind of sleep pattern that's going to be good for them. It helps to prepare them mentally for knowing what that day is going to feel like when it comes around. And it can help to get them back into that calmer space that we've all done really well when the routine's been in place during the school term, and sometimes it just goes awry during the summer holidays. So start to introduce some kind of routine back in the week before. A couple of days before you're due to go back to school, start thinking about the child being able to have choices about what they're going to wear when they return to school. So you can lay out their school uniform and they can help to pick. Younger children, it's just as important that they've got the right underwear as it is to have the best summer dress or shorts. And for older children, you know, they want to feel smart, they want to feel good. So help them to have some choice over that. Lay it out, get things ready so they know that they're organised. The day before, pack their bag with them so that they know everything is in order. Gives them the opportunity to talk about things as well, last minute chat. And just as a nice little throw in, you know, if you can put in a little note in their lunchbox or an extra special treat, so that actually when they're there they get a feel good factor. There's probably loads more that I could tell you, and I'm sure that there is when I have sessions with parents and with children, but hopefully you'll have found some of that helpful. Any questions, anything that you want exploring anymore, I'm more than happy to help. So get in touch if you think that I can help you. And good luck with that return to school.